from Mars and shipping it to Earth, who's now become barren, relying on Mars as the source of material. The workers, the miners who were sent up there, were promised a back end. They would get a part of the profit. It never happened, much like major motion picture films. You know. The children of the miners that grew up on Mars are tired of the scam, and they revolt. They start a revolution on Mars. They want Mars for Martians. On Earth, the people on Earth who have been utilizing Mars send their best diplomat, a man who is cynical, who's tired of compromising two sides, never has his own opinion, doesn't want to go, but he's forced to go, ends up on Mars, ends up falling in love with the passion of the young miners, becomes the leader, not unlike George Washington, becomes the leader of the revolution against Earth. And that's the comic books. Act of War being, Man of War being the first one.
You have a big announcement, don't you?
Do we play the CTN now?
You want to do the clip first or the announcement first?
No, play the clip first.
Clip it is. All right, guys, let's play the clip. Woo!
Previously on Act of War. To be continued.
So you can see it's new, it's different, and from the beginning we're fumbling our way into how to tell the story. This is really terrific. It's gotten better and better. The camera motion is better. The story comes up. It's terrific, and it's new. So we're fumbling our way to getting it better and better. And in the same way, we're fumbling our way on how to get it to you. Shatner's singularity leads you to Apple, right?
It will lead you everywhere. It'll lead you to Vimeo, it'll lead you to iTunes. Right now, what we've done, and one of the announcements you're hinting at, is that we released in July the adaptation of Man of War, which was the first novel in the series. We're now creating the umbrella title, William Shatner War Chronicles, so that more versions of the story can fall in behind it. So season 2 that you just saw the clip for is Act of War. And by next year, next summer, we'll be releasing season 3, which is Law of War. And it will just carry on that way under the William Shatner War Chronicles umbrella.
And I want to hear from you. If you decide to look it up and put down the few dollars it is to buy the season, I want to hear what you like and what you don't like. We need this focus group. We need you people to feed us back information so that we can get this better and better. What you like and what you don't like about it is very important to me. So if you should decide to come in, how would they let us know?
Well, you can go to shatnersingularity.com and sign up for our newsletter, and there's also a contact button that you can email us. More importantly, join the newsletter. We can communicate that way and also give you updates and all of that.
And now, are we sort of good? We done?
Well,
No.
don't you have a little
one more
surprise?
Well, I understand. We got a guest.
Well, I also have one more thing to tell them, is that when you go to shatnersingularity.com, you can also watch the first 4 episodes for free. They're just sitting there.
That's right.
No
I forgot
charge.
about that. Free! And then get back to that. All the tight people just applauded. All right, so now we got a guest. A guest in his own house, right?
Yeah, let's do the clip.
We want to do what?
We have a clip we can play.
All right, so we're going to play a cameo clip
Back there it is now.
of the guest. And guess who it is? That's Stan Lee, in case you didn't know that.
He gets in everything, doesn't he?
A better looking version of Stan Lee. Here is Stan Lee, with whom we're partnering. Hey, come and sit down.
Just what I need.
What?
More competition.
No, Stan, we're working together. God woke.
Oh, that's right. I'm on your side. That makes it good. Hey,
God
I gotta
woke.
tell you, that looked terrific.
Doesn't it look?
You know, absolutely terrific. And of course, my cameo made it. And I can't wait to see the rest of it. This guy, Bill Shatner, not only is he one of the nicest guys in the business, he's one of the most talented guys. And I tell you, whatever he's going to do, I know it'll be good, or else he'll answer to me.
Oh, God. Key of C. You notice that? Some years ago, I won't even say how many, Stan wrote the most beautiful poem called God Woke, W-O-K-E. It is classical. It's beautiful. The philosophy is phenomenal, but the way he wrote it, the words he used, is just extraordinary. I'm so impressed. I mean, he's a jokester, and he talks, he's funny all the time, and he's light, but the man who thought of this poem has a deep soul. And we're going to do, L&L, our Shatner Singularity, is going to do God Woke. We're going to work with Stan. I had another project with Stan, but he turned it down. The project I wanted was, we would call it Staying Alive.
Well, why not?
I keep breathing, something like that. So, God Woke. We're making that announcement, right, Marianne?
Yeah, I say the reason for God Woke is, I have written about so many superheroes, and each one gets stronger and more powerful. We ended up with Galactus and characters like that. And I said, who can I get that'll top all of them? Well, who's left? God. So I'm going to make a hero out of God, too, and I hope he'll be grateful. And Bill is going to help me. And wait till you see this thing when it's finished. It's going to be so different from what you expect. But we're not going to give you any clues. We're not going to give any hints. And I have one complaint. How come I'm outnumbered here? You got your whole army with you? I'm sitting here alone and vulnerable.
We're
all on the same side.
Well, you got the redhead, right? That's all you need. Mariana, tell us a little about God Woke.
It's a poem Stan wrote
A
while back.
magnificent poem. You left out the adjective.
It's true. It's true. Magnificent poem. What we're doing is we're taking a look at it as a body of work and treating it as a short story. So when looking at it in that way and translating it into a graphic novel format, it becomes a really fantastic platform to get a great story out there.
And the problems we're wrestling with is who's God? I don't mean who is God. Who's God? And how do you make a story about mankind and God's disappointment in mankind into something that you would want to read? We're wrestling with those problems right now.
Hey, if it was easy, I wouldn't be bothering with it. I only tackle the tough stuff, right?
There you go. And working with Stan, we will present that in due time, and hopefully you'll love it.
Well, I think we have some time for audience questions.
Good.
Who's got a question?
The girl with the key of C. What? There you go. Why don't you ask a question? How did you reach that note?
I saw one right in the front here.
You got a question?
Can I ask a question pertaining
Yes,
to...
just nice and loud.
Oh, okay. May I ask a question pertaining to Star Trek Beyond?
Can you ask a question about Star Trek?
Well, are you going to be in
Beyond.
Star Trek? Are you going to be in Star Trek Beyond?
Am I going to be in Star Trek Beyond?
Yes.
We're in a comic book festival. Yeah.
Well,
I don't even know what Star Trek Beyond is. Is that the new movie?
the new movie next year.
It's the new movie. No, I'm not in it.
Okay.
Okay.
Aw.
Is that what you wanted to know?
That's what I wanted to know.
No. A question. Question about it.
Next question, guys.
Shatner's singularity or
I
something.
hope they have a cameo for
KFC.
me.
Or a cameo for...
Girl in red right there.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Your favorite hero?
My favorite hero is Stan Lee. Yeah. Because
He's known
all
for
those
his good taste.
all those heroes come out of Stan Lee's mind like, this is me. You know, when a writer writes, he's saying, this is me. So Stan Lee is all these heroes.
You wonder why I like the guy? Thank you.
Yeah, question.
Did you ever read any Stan Lee's comic books? Like you have a specific comic book that you used to really
Well, I don't even know how far back Stan Lee goes, okay? But I want you to know, as a kid, that's how far back I go. I was under the blankets. My parents would say, lights out, you gotta go to sleep. I'd be under the blankets with a comic book, Superman, Batman, and I'd be reading by flashlight. And that was my introduction to comic books, and that was comic books for me were the inspiration for so much of the stuff I've done. Comic books were my love, and are my love, and he is my love.
I'm glad I came. I'll tell you one thing. If Shakespeare were alive today, do you know what he'd be writing? Comic books. He'd love them. See, he had to write plays that had to be acted on the stage. So you had to watch characters walk around, you had to listen to what they were saying, and you had to imagine what they were talking about and the settings. But in a comic book, he could have gotten all that dialogue, and he could have drawn the settings, so it would have been even better.
And more so with CGN. Now you're seeing how they move.
That's right.
And it's heightened with music and sound effects by this gentleman here. You've got the ultimate comic book.
I feel so sorry for Shakespeare that he died too soon.
Next question. Yes, go ahead. Announce the question. What was the question?
Into a superheroine. Well, she sort of is
Mary
already,
Magdalene?
isn't she?
Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, she is a superheroine to begin with, so you've got it already. I try to invent new things that haven't been done. She's there already. Somebody beat me to it.
So she wouldn't be Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman?
She'd be Wonder
Wait a minute.
Wonder Lady.
Isn't Wonder Woman a D, if you'll excuse the expression, a DC character? Didn't we have an agreement before we got...
DC.
No, I'm only kidding. I love DC, whatever the hell it stands for.
District of Columbia.
I'll tell you one thing, Bill and I are going to have so much fun with this book venture of ours.
It's called God Woke, in case you forgot.
The graphic stuff, the illustrations, and nobody does it better than him. And I have to leave now because I have an important panel to go to. I'm only kidding. But thank you very much for having me. And Bill.
Thank you, Stan. What a guy. Gee whiz. Unbelievable.
Hey, do we want to say who's doing the story
Just
adaptation?
think, what would Stan say?
What would Stan say?
We should announce for you guys who is doing the story adaptation as well. Maybe Anicia.
Yeah, a guy with a weird last name.
Niciesa, I can totally say
Do
it.
we have the picture to show?
Do we have a picture for that?
We do.
Aha.
There you go.
I mean, there are DC characters in that picture, but
Oh, that's Fabian.
So Fabian Niciesa, who created Deadpool, he's got a little movie coming out next year. We've tapped him to come on board and be the plot writer for God Woke. So Fabian's going to be doing the plot, Stan obviously is going to be doing the script. And that's the writing team for God Woke.
That's exciting.
It is, it's going to be fun. A lot of fun.
Keep abreast of it all by going to Shatner Singularity, right?
ShatnerSingularity.com has all the updates.
All right, next question.
yeah, I think this is our last question.
That gentleman there, nice and loud. Ambient noise being what it is. Can't hear a word.
Loud, loud.
Pass the question on. What do you say?
Influences.
What influence?
What kind of influence? I got that far. What kind of influence have I had on my writing? Well, we went from a feather and dipping it in ink to a keyboard. I love a great story. I love to be entertained, and I like classical storytelling, beginning, middle, and end, plot progression, character evolution. I like all those classical Greek ways of telling stories. That's been my influence. And I was brought up on Shakespeare, so Shakespeare's stories, which contain all those elements, are great classical ways of telling stories, and then it comes out like what you've just seen. That's Shakespearean. Stan is right. I mean, there's the guy, instead of a sword, it's a ray gun, but they're fighting and there's sword play, but it's jumping and diving, and there's the hero and there's the villain, and it's clear as to what's happening, and there's some kind of message there that you would like. All those storytelling devices that Shakespeare used, we're going to use on Shatner Singularity. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.